guys, today I'm going to read you a book. It's called Randy Riley's Really Big Hits. What do you think the story is going to be about? Here is a little boy and he's got a bat. He's next to this big thing with a big foot. I wonder what that could be. The story is written by Chris Van Duden. Bear with me with my paper version of this book because the library is closed and Amazon is taking a little bit longer than normal to deliver books, so I printed it out and we will do our best. Let's see what this big object here could be. The night before he went to sleep, Randy scanned the sky, and through his Space Boy telescope, a glimmer caught his eye. He fiddled with the focus till he saw it crystal clear. It was a massive fireball, and it was coming near. Alarmed, he started plotting the projection of its path. He formulated diagrams. He double-checked his math. He calculated quickly and concluded with a frown. In 19 days, that fireball will crash into his town. And there's his big telescope. That's where he found it. Randy Riley flew downstairs to warn his mom and dad. The impact would be major. The damage would be bad. He explained the situation until his face was red. But they told him he was tired and they sent him off to bed. Dad's just reading his paper. They don't believe him. They don't believe him at all. So poor Randy couldn't sleep at all. He thought the whole night through. By morning it was obvious. He just knew what he had to do. He gathered what he needed. He determined a resolution and lugged it off behind the shed. It worked to work on his solution. I wonder what's all in this big thing that he's pulling. It looks very, very heavy. Randy toiled for 18 days while other kids had fun, but he was on a mission. So he worked till he was done. There he is. He's creating something. Well, all of his other buddies played baseball. He was working and trying to figure out how to save this big fireball from coming and destroying everything. At breakfast on the 19th day, the news announcer said, "This is a special bulletin, emergency, code red. A fireball's approaching. It just flew past the moon. It's coming fast, so be prepared for it. It will hit by noon." Yeah, you can believe it now. Look, the dad is spitting out his coffee. He's in shock. And the little guy said, Randy's like, "I told you so. They just never listen." And look at Mom. She was so shocked, she dropped her bacon and eggs. See? He's spitting out coffee, and she's dropping bacon and eggs because they can't believe it. By noon, this fireball is going to hit. Everyone started running. So everybody burst outside, and fear and panic grew. But Randy ran back in the shed. He had a job to do. Interesting, a fireball is going to hit, and they're all running outside. You'd think you'd be safer inside, but what do I know? He's working hard in his shed. As fear and panic grew, Randy ran back in the shed. He had a job to do. So here he is. He's running, and he's going in his shed. He grabbed the tarp and gave a tug. It slid off to reveal the mighty mammoth robot man he welded out of steel. I think that might be the leg of that foot that we saw on the cover. looks like look how tall. Here's Randy down here. And this robot is super, super tall. The robot needed power, and Randy knew precisely that 97 batteries would energize it nicely. 97 batteries, that's a lot of batteries. Wow. The eyes lit up, the engine whirled. Step 1 was now complete. So far so good, thought Randy. Then they thundered down the street. Popping the batteries in. Step 2 of Randy's mission took place just south of town in a section known as Millville, where he slowed the robot down. The robot ripped the smokestack off an old abandoned mill, then Randy turned the throttle knob to march him up the hill. Pretty amazing what he made, huh? Look at this robot. His eyes are glowing, like you said. This robot is holding something in his hand. What do you think that could be? He's got something. We'll figure out in a minute. Now for critical step 3. The robot burst out through the trees. He stepped up and took a stance while everyone fell silent, as if frozen in a trance. Randy's eyes was on the ball. No room for error now. 3, 2, 1, and flip the switch and swoosh. And then, so here he is. Here he is walking down the street, and then he comes over here, he takes a stance. Look at that. That thing he was holding looks like a baseball bat. Wow, and look at all the little people down here. Like, what in the world is that? They couldn't believe it. Kapow! A blinding flash, a booming crash. He knew what had to be done. Randy Riley had a hit, his very first home run. The robot hit the fireball that was coming. The fireball sailed out of sight. A roaring cheer began. Hooray for Randy Riley and his giant metal man. As the crowd went crazy, Randy stood there with a grin and mumbled, how predictable, a fastball, low and in. Okay, it's getting that fireball back out of there. When things returned to normal, after Randy saved the day, he went back to the baseball field to join his friends at play. And though he swings in earnest, he rarely hits the ball, but that's okay because Randy had the biggest hit of all. The little help of his friends. Look at, he must be the outfielder. Can't imagine getting any balls past him because he's so tall. The end. I hope you enjoyed that book. Talk to you later. Bye.